Right, to the Six Nations now, and Steve Borthwick's reign as England head coach began with disappointment on Saturday after his side were beaten by Scotland at Twickenham, who won 3 Calcutta Cups in a row for the first time since 1972. Up next for them, it's Italy on Sunday. James Cole has the latest.
Yes, it's just 1 win in 6 now for England in terms of Calcutta Cups. Steve Borthwick unable to transform their fortunes in just 11 training sessions. Will Greenwood, though, were there positive signs if you're an England fan?
Yes, yeah. Why am I pausing? We are where we are, I think. And I think Steve Borthwick's come out in the press conferences today and said, I've inherited a team that aren't world class in any department, has highlighted the speed of ruck. And in the time he had available to him, it seems he has gone around about fixing a couple of those issues, but the bigger picture is we are there to be taken by good teams. We are unable to put teams away when we get in front, and it needs more time, more work. So, look, I'm always a positive English fan. It's tough times. You said 1 in 6 in the Calcutta Cup. I don't know what the record is. Last 5-6 games that England have played, it's been a pretty lean time for victories and glory. But we hope we're 5 or 6 days away from grabbing a win.
How big a job does Borthwick have now? Because the World Cup is just 8 months away, to make England contenders in that competition.
Yeah, look, I think Steve will be pretty quick, and I'm certainly not beating his drum for him. But no, it's about Sunday. We've just got turned over by the Scots. Forget about France in September and October. We need to put together a game this weekend, a run of results in the Six Nations that allows us to feel like we're starting to make progress. And I think that's always after baby steps. Identify some key areas, of one of which I've talked about, sort of speed of ruck. The line out wobbled at the weekend. A number of clean line breaks just aren't high enough. The list, our box kicks were too deep. We kicked away too much ball in the opposition third. I mean, I'm starting to list things that he's got a big to-do list. But I really believe they've got a cracking coaching team. They've got decent ingredients. I think there's a realisation at times that, we always assume, we know the Premier League is the best league in the world. So do we therefore make an incorrect link that the Premiership is the best league in the world? And perhaps we do, and therefore we find ourselves in echo chambers talking about our domestic club teams. We go, wow, look at some of these players. And then you compare them to some of the athletes that Ireland have, that France have, and on this occasion that Scotland have, because we got turned over by them. So you have to say they are the better team and therefore had the better players.
The Owen Farrell-Marcus Smith partnership is probably Borthwick's biggest conundrum in terms of selection. What did you make of it, how they played together on Saturday?
Yeah, so, I might take slightly. The back row, no Laws and no Tom Curry, and they were out-muscled by sort of Crosby and Fergus and Ritchie at the weekend. So, anyway, your question was Smith-Farrell. I've sort of felt that pick a fly half and pick 2 centres. And I sound a little bit like a broken record. I think we were talking about this in the summer on Sky for the summer tour games that we had. Steve's hand has been slightly forced. He could have picked Manu, but Dan Kelly out, I think, which is where they would have gone. Slade out, so they might have gone Slade. Daly out, so a lot of his centres were unavailable, but that's not to make excuses for the performance. I still think England should pick a 10 and 2 centres. But if you take away from the individuals and then actually explore what those individuals are doing, having watched the game 3 times now, glutton for punishment, to try and find shoots of recovery, everything's just a little too deep. So it's actually not relevant to the personnel. You could take sort of screenshots of rucks and go, wow, we're taking the ball. Get your binoculars out. Where are the Scots? They're a long way away, and you compare that to an Ontamac or a Jalibert who came on, or a Sexton, or specifically a Finn Russell in the build-up to the second one, Van der Merwe try. The ball from 9 at times, whichever 9 was on, for players coming round the corner, was just given a yard or two early safely but safety isn't risk reward. As safety allows Scotsmen to lie in wait and gang tackle and turn over. So I think, without going back to the Smith-Farrell question, although I still think a fly half and two centres was where I would go. I actually think it's more of an issue for Nick Evans and the coaching staff to give players the confidence to go. Just see that there's the opposition's nose. Just get there. Don't be back here and give them the initiative.
Changes for Italy on Sunday. Would you make any? Does Borthwick have the luxury to make any?
I think that's the key, luxury. I've talked about players that sort of haven't been available, and you'll list more, I'm sure, but Kelly, Slade, Daly, Laws, Tom Curry. I'm unsure, away from camp, although Bagshot's just down the road. I haven't got a drone up there checking who's training this morning. If they're fit, then Courtney Laws comes back. I don't think he's fit. Tom Curry comes back. I think Henry Slade probably comes back into the mix. I mean, Joe Marchant didn't do a lot wrong, but I feel that Slade had first dibs on that 13 jersey. And I think they'll look to get Dan Kelly involved quickly. I mean, it's amazing that I feel like we're relying on a geezer who's had 2 caps, which just, again, tells you a little bit of where we are. In the front 5, there's an argument for Ribbons to potentially come into a second row slot, but Chesham was the better second row, so that potentially, do you drop Marrow? I mean, Marrow's like nearly 100 caps and is has for a long time been first name on the team sheet, and I think the front row is probably as is.